Okay, I just want to point something out about this DK Oldies advertisement right here. Like, look at this. Okay, I want to pause it right here. Buying fake games isn't really a necessarily bad thing, really depending like what like the situation is. But right here, like this isn't even the only time this has happened, but every time when DK always talks about fake games, they're like, "Oh, they don't ever work," or like, "Oh, they're not like the original. They don't play like the original." Well, I can confirm by buying reproductions of some pretty expensive games and playing the originals also that they are fucking lying. You can play these games on the N64, Genesis, whatever you're playing, and if it's a reproduction, it should work fine. As long as it has a save battery in it, if it's a game that saves, then you're all good. Most of the time it should work. Here, I can prove it right now. Okay, I grabbed a few N64 games off of my shelf just to compare. So, these games look fine, right? Well, that's the fake one right there. You can kind of, like, because, like, here's also the other thing. DK Oldies is also like, oh, it's hard to tell what's fake and what's not from the average human eye. Well, guess what? You can kind of tell, because, like, just side by side, you can kind of just tell, not even by the label, but by the plastic. Look at the crevices on the sides. Compare it to this. Yes, like, it's, like, more white on here. And also, look at the circuit board compared to these. It looks cheaper and it's white when most N64 games have a brownish type of circuit board. You can also tell by the weight too. This actually has a decent amount of weight, probably because this is a big game, but also another thing, you can tell by putting the label into the light. Same thing with the back one, and if it doesn't have the imprinted number, it's kind of just common human knowledge. And there are also other excuses like, well, if you're shopping for them online, like, it's hard to still tell. Not really, because the coloring of the label, if I had a real copy of Paper Mario, I would compare it, but I don't because I got rid of my authentic copy because it's not really a game I care for too much. That's why I got a reproduction of it, because it's a very expensive game. That's the one thing I'll say about repros that's actually good about them. Getting repros, if it's an expensive game like this, or like a game that didn't come out in America, that's like an English translation, that's actually pretty good and actually a good alternative instead of just importing or whatever. And also, you don't have to risk modding your console because usually the hacker, the ROM hacker, already fixed it so the console doesn't detect that it's like from a different region, and so it doesn't like say, oh, you can't play this on this console. Also, another thing, if you see a listing on eBay and if you think it's quote-unquote fake, another thing to look for if the game is like $20 or under, or if the game says that it is quote-unquote brand new, that's a sign that it's fake and that it's a red flag. And again, if you don't want to go for it, then don't go for it, avoid it. But again, like me, if it's like an expensive game like this or something sought after, then sure, go for it, because if it's expensive, you probably don't want to spend the cash on it. And especially again at DK Oldies, yes, they sell the real deal, but here's the thing: do you want to freaking spend like $60 on a copy of Mario 64? I checked on their website. I believe that's how much they sell it for. When I bought this son of a bitch for like 25 or 30, I forgot how much. It was around that range though, and it's in really good condition too, other than like a tiny little mark right there on the side. But other than that, this thing's in great condition. Also, another thing to prove DK Oldies wrong, like I said already before, they say these sons of bitches don't work or do any good, and they also don't hold your saves. Let me prove them wrong right now. Look at this. This is a cheap Chinese knockoff of Paper Mario. Pop it into the Nintendo 64, grab the controller. Oh gee, it's working. I didn't even have to blow into it or anything. And again, with the save files, oh gee, let's see if my save file's there. I think my volume's turned down on my... oh, no, it's not. I thought it was. But, let's take a look. Oh, look, my save file's right there, and I haven't played this game in about, like, a freaking week. And guess what? I played this for about an hour straight, and I have not ran into any issues. It plays just like the original, and like I said, I used to have an authentic copy of this game. There is no difference between a real copy and a reproduction, other than for collector's purposes. So, if DK Oldies says to avoid reproductions, I would say maybe, depending. But again, if it's an expensive game like this, or something else like Conker's Bad Fur Day, Mega Man, The Wily Wars, or just anything expensive, then sure, go for it. So, yeah, I'll show the rest of the stupid-ass ad that they made, but, this is just my thoughts on it and my response to them. Sure, you guys know this by now, but don't buy from these people and don't sell them anything and don't give them any support. They're a bunch of scammers and lied to their fans, obviously. So,